Hey everyone, this is a demo video to showcase our project Scout. There's a constant need for data, be it generating reports to find out how the company is doing this quarter or to find out what the impact was due to a recent downtime. And often thousands of hours are wasted every year by product managers just waiting to get answers to simple questions, or by engineers who lose focus on their work due to answering ad hoc queries, or by business analysts who repeatedly have to answer the same questions over and over again. So we've set out to solve this problem by creating a business intelligence teammate. So what can this AI business intelligence teammate do? It can fetch data from your databases and other data sources and run queries on it, all in natural language. It can also generate reports out of this data and even password protect them to share with third parties outside of your company. And finally, it can send reports to Slack channels or through emails. I'll now walk you through two demo scenarios showcasing the capabilities of Scout. Here we have Arnav, the business intelligence team lead, telling me that the execs require a report on user signups and deactivation activities over the last 3 months. He also asked me to give him a breakdown by business unit. I say sure, and I assign this task to Scout. I then ask Scout to give me a report with the following data: total user signups over the last 3 months, total users becoming inactive over the last 3 months, the business unit with the most number of active users over the last 3 months, the BU with the most number of inactive users, count of inactive users month on month, and finally, count of user signups over the last 3 months, broken down by different business units. Okay, our report is now ready. Let's take a closer look. Okay, so Scout has called it user report. There has been a total of 102 signups over the last 3 months. 46 users have become inactive in this time period. Our lending business unit has the most number of active users at 46. Lending also has the most number of inactive users at 24. We can see a count of inactive users month on month in table format. And finally, counts of user signups by business units. We now walk through our second use case. For this use case, we've assumed we work at a financial company called Cashly. There has been a F0 incident because there is a payments downtime, and Rohan, the senior engineering manager, is looking into it. While the success rate did recover, there is a need to raise it with a third party provider to help them realize the impact and give them the context to provide further root cause analysis, and finally help bring a solution to deal with the affected transactions. I tell him that I'll get right on it, and I ask Scout to generate a report for the following questions: how many total number of transactions failed? What was the total value of these transactions? Unique users affected by this? Which hour saw the most transaction failures? Count of transactions failed group by provider? And finally, count of transactions failed group by type. I also ask Scout to send it to a third party email and to make sure it's password protected since it's going outside of the organization. We now have the report. This must also mean that the third party recipient email should also have received it. And yes, we've received the email. Let's go ahead and put the password in and check the report. So Scout has generated the report successfully. Total transactions that failed today were 98. Total value of transactions was $25,000. Unique users affected were 26. The hour with the most transaction failures was at 1, with all 98 failures happening at that time. Transaction count based on provider are all put into a table, and finally, transaction count by type of transaction is also put into a table, with one time payments seeing the highest number of failures. I'll now go into the architecture of our product Scout, and I'll talk about how the data interactions happen. First, we have our MuleSoft plus Anypoint Code Builder backend, where we have a Slack event listener and a Slack message comes in. So this message is then propagated to a LangGraph backend, where the orchestrator agent receives it. The orchestrator agent pretty much has the responsibility of breaking down the message into tasks that it can assign to the various other agents that it interacts with. So there is a data agent whose responsibility is to get the data, report agent whose responsibility is to generate and encrypt reports and any other report actions, and then we have a comms agent whose responsibility is to assist in communication through various communication channels. And then we have all of our MCP servers here. We have a Postgres MCP server which talks to a Postgres database hosted on Superbase. And then we have our Foxit MCP server which exposes actions like generate document and encrypt document. And this talks with the Foxit servers. And then we have our comms MCP server where we have it talking with the Slack servers as well as the Mailjet SMTP server, which allows us to send emails. We will now talk about the challenges that we will be enrolling in. We are enrolling in the MuleSoft AI integration challenge as well as the Foxit document chain challenge. So as a part of the MuleSoft challenge, we have used Anypoint Code Builder in our VS Code. We have used the Gen AI capabilities of Agentforce in order to generate a lot of our flows. We have generated the MCP servers for PostgreSQL, Foxit, as well as the Slack flows. We use this to build the Slack message listener endpoint. And we have a multi-agent solution as described earlier. We have a total of 4 agents interacting with each other. And so we were required to expose our Mule applications and APIs as MCP servers, which we have done as described earlier. And we have also used Anypoint Exchange connectors. We have used it to connect to a database. And we have also used other exchange connectors like the validation module and also making HTTP requests to external parties. As part of the Foxit challenge, we have 2 flows, a document creation flow and an encryption flow. As demonstrated earlier in the demo, the encryption flow comes into play if we're sending messages to third parties, demonstrating a chain document workflow.